Welcome to WMN Live. I am so excited today to talk about the power of They Get Me in social selling, and I am excited to be joined by Michelle Berman Michael, owner of Berman Media, and all of the things that she's been doing for our AIME members has been really fantastic over the last few months. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you a bit, Michelle, and share your story with our members. So welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. Super looking forward to this.
Me too. I want to get right into it with you because one of the things that I love about your approach is, and we kind of talked about this when we were connecting before the show, is rewriting the script on the way that we approach social media. I think for so long, when social media started to become the thing, the way to build your brand and market yourself, it was all about the presentation and the perception of this sort of perfect image for people. Talk to me a little bit about how you approach and how you coach your clients in social media marketing.
Well, thank you for that. And I couldn't have said it better myself. That is exactly how it used to be. And really, I think even still how some people view it today. And I think it's a big problem. And the easiest way for me to describe the difference between what has been done and what I do is by explaining kind of the concept of the narrative gap. If anyone's not familiar with the concept of the narrative gap, feel free to Google it or ChatGPT it. It's freaking fascinating. But the reality of what this means is that if we don't change the perception of someone's mind, then they win, right? They create the framing in their mind around who is this person and what do they have to offer, or what is their value proposition. And I figured that out many years ago, because what I realized is unless I change how people perceive the world of social media, people will continue to devalue the work that is done by those of us that do it well and that do it right. And they will also start to see it or start to hear it, frankly, when you say, hey, I own a social media company. People will look at you differently and people will treat you differently unless you're in charge of the narrative of what people think of when they think of that phrase or that term. So my thought process, my philosophy is really tapping into that they get me concept of my job is to create content that makes other people feel very, very comfortable reaching out to me, being vulnerable to me, wanting to have conversations about things that matter to them. And my job also is for me to say, hey, I'm a real person going through real stuff, and other people are also going through those things. And then second to that, how do we then position that to be a springboard into, hey, I'm having a conversation with another mom and another wife like you, who's been through stuff in our life. But at the same time, we're doing big things. And yes, we have a product that you can buy, if that makes sense.
Well, let's talk about Beyond the Method a little bit, and let's talk about the authenticity piece of all of this. You're absolutely right. I think for many years, we're obviously in our Women's Mortgage Network now, posting our live, although our entire AIME membership group is our audience is also specifically the women of mortgage. I think that for a long time, being authentic and sharing the challenges that we overcame and some of us still managing through in order to continue to level ourselves up has been seen as a weakness. And I think that the conversation has been changing for some time, and I'm excited to see that you're one of the people changing that conversation. Let's talk about Beyond the Method. Let's talk about your clients and how you coach them through and give them a plan that isn't a templated one size fits all, but rather is unique to them. I'd love to hear more about what that's like for them and for you.
I love talking about this because it really is super different. And I don't say that just because I want to say that I'm different. I really truly believe that in my core, it's just done differently in my world. And the best way I can describe it to you is that everything that we do is really in 3 phases. Phase 1 being our content piece. And, I'm known for being a master prospector through social. That is my secret sauce. That is my specialty. Now, when you think of prospecting for clarity, let's make this crystal clear. My job is to outbound prospect through social. So that is how my company has grown. That is how I've built Beyond the Method. That's how I built Berman Media as a whole, by figuring out a way to build bridges between relationships I've already started and built and creating new ones from those relationships. That is the power of what Beyond the Method teaches. Now, can you start there? Right? You start in the prospecting phase. The answer is no. You can't start in that piece, because if you don't have the content or the framework on your platform to back up those messages or back up that outbound reaching out that you're creating or initiating, how you have a problem, right? Which ties into the phrase of "Am I who I say I am?" which is something that I say a lot. And Jamie, you and I have never met in real life, but I know for sure, hopefully, that you feel like you know that I am exactly who I say I am, and there's no sugarcoating that. Like, I am very, very honest and raw and vulnerable there, and that's important. That's on purpose, right? So phase one of this is your content has to be fixed first. So if your content is not a grounds for who is this person outside of work, what is she doing in her real day? Like this morning, for example, I went to the gym, and I've been known as a runner lately. I've been doing a lot of running over the last several years. My husband is trying to qualify for Boston, but I went to the gym and squatted 215 pounds, and was like, I posted it in my stories and was like, hey, runners got to squat too, because we got to have strong legs. Not bad for a runner, right? And already a ton of messages coming in of people just like, damn, I didn't realize that you squatted that much. And it's like, well, it's really not that much, but thank you. But the point is that it's connecting first, right? So in phase one, we have to fix our content so that the thread of what we're posting makes us these real human beings that are really genuinely just doing life like alongside everybody else.
Yeah.
When I coach a mortgage professional through this, you have to be willing to talk about the things you enjoy doing, like, just frankly. Now, there also is a caveat to this conversation, and I don't want to miss this, because you have to earn the right to talk about mortgages in your content. I did a video about this the other day because I was so passionate about it after I got off of a coaching call. But you have to earn the right to talk about mortgages in your content, meaning you want to talk about the Rocket acquisition. You want to talk about, hey, the rates have been really bad over the last 24 hours because of one thing, right? You want to talk about, hey, I have this new loan product that can help you. Hey, you want to talk about XYZ related to mortgage. You don't just do that every single day and expect for it to do anything, because it won't, right? So you'll end up creating a lot of indifference in your audience, which is another conversation. But when you do that, right, when you earn the right to talk about mortgages in your content by being a person first and then weaving the mortgage in subliminally sort of throughout that, all of a sudden people are listening. All of a sudden more people will pay attention. All of a sudden more people are more likely to say, oh, I didn't know Jamie did that, or oh, I didn't know that this company has that product, right? Or, oh, I'm a realtor looking at this loan officer. I didn't know that this person specialized in doing those types of loans, right? But again, if you earn the right to sit at the table by having those conversations, in order to do that, you have to show up authentically. So there's some structure and methodology behind how we do that, but really it's about combining your passions and the pain points that you solve for your clients into a series that I call value series. But long story short, got to fix your content first. Once you fix your content in phase one, we then transition into phase two, which is now I get to teach you the art of outbound messaging, sending people or creating conversations and opportunities for yourself through active outbound prospecting through social channels, which is not just Instagram, but it's, we're all on LinkedIn every single day, right? So it's LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook really being the big three. But we can't.
LinkedIn is something people undervalue. I mean, I remember when I first started to kind of just dip my toe in the water of the social media thing, LinkedIn was the first place where I got the most followers. And it wasn't because I was posting about mortgages every day. It was because thought leadership was where I was genuinely and authentically at, kind of evolving as a leader back then. And I was posting things that resonated with me, and it turns out they resonated with a whole bunch of other people too. And as a result, to your point, when I spoke about things that were related to the industry and to mortgages, people listen. It goes back to the fundamental sales, saying, if you will, people want to work with those that they know, like, and trust. Today, the way that we learn to know, like, and trust people looks a lot different than it did 15 or 20 years ago. We have the opportunity to tell people who we are on social media, on the different platforms. But I think that, as we talked about at the beginning here, the know and the trust parts can only happen if they're based on who you really are. And consumers and people are getting much more savvy at ferreting out those who are putting on a show or a facade, rather than those who are genuinely out there saying, this is who I am. It might resonate with some of you, it might repel others of you, but that's okay, because the people that I want to interact with and build relationships with are the people who see me, who find value in me, and vice versa. I see and find value in them. And so I love that message. And I love that that's the direction that things are going in. As a result of your success with Beyond the Method, you have also written a book.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me a
I'm
little bit
smiling
about that.
super big, and I have goosebumps because this is the first live call that
Uh-oh, it looks like we had a little bit of a technical issue. Hopefully, Michelle can jump right back on again. Her book is called The Black Line Approach, and it has to do, oh, here she is.
I don't know
Michelle,
what
you
just
got
happened. All of a sudden, my
no
host
worries.
here I am.
I was
So
just telling everybody about the name of your book. I would love for you
yes,
to continue to tell us all about it.
thank you. And sorry, I have no idea what tech
It
issues. I can't
happens.
control that. But what I was saying is I just have the goosebumps because this is just such a big project for me. It's been really a lifelong goal of mine. When I graduated from college, I said to my dad the day of my college graduation at Rutgers, for all my East Coast people, I said to him, I said, Dad, I'm going to write a book. I have no idea what it's about, but I can just promise you that once I figure it out, I'm going to do it. And I have a voice and somebody needs to hear it. And that was in 2012. So I graduated in May of 2012. So what is that, 13 years ago almost? And here we are finally doing it. But the name of the book is called The Black Line. It is a play off of the black line on the bottom of a pool. As a former competitive swimmer who stared at that line for a very, very long time, what I really discovered was that it truly became a visual metronome for me, something that I could trust and confidently follow that would get me from one end of the pool to the other. And eventually I do a flip turn on the other side, turn around and come back. And I swam the mile in college. So for those of you guys familiar with the swimming world, that is the longest event on the swimming program. So in a short course pool, that is 66 down and backs, which is a lot in the Olympic pool size, which is what you see on or in the Olympics on TV. There is 30 laps of that. So 30 down and backs there. So I say all of that to you guys to say I stared at that thing for quite a long time, and it became something that really became a trusted companion in my life in the pool. But as that transitioned into entrepreneurship, it became very, very clear to me that the primary skill that I possess is my ability to reverse engineer success. And to essentially undo what I have now done successfully and allow others to duplicate it for themselves. So I fail forward in my life. I'm not one of those people where I very passively wait. I am the, oh crap, I just started and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to keep going type of a person. And that's how I built Beyond the Method in 2019. It failed when I initially launched, as you and I were chatting about offline. And I had to reevaluate and come back and figure out why it failed. And then when I came back, I had a very kick-ass first weekend officially live in round 2. But it was because I was able to reverse engineer what didn't work and what did work, and turn it into something that I can now sell to the world, right? And have it actually make and create results. So the book is, there's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of analogies or parables in it. It is really, which I can't share too much of the cover and the details, but what I can tell you guys is it's a story of hope. It's a story of, hey, there is light at the end of all of this. But there is also sadness and there's darkness and life is hard and it's not always roses, but it's a matter of what we do with it and how we allow it to funnel into how we women especially show up in our careers, because there were a lot of people who probably would have expected me to retire at the end of last year after losing a baby. And instead, I used it as an opportunity to say, hello, world, I'm going to come back a whole lot stronger than what you thought I was. And so that's really what the book is designed. It's not for women in any way, like specifically, but I think it will. I think women will resonate heavily with it. I also do think anyone who's ever been an athlete in any capacity will resonate with it. I'm a God person and I'm very open about my faith. And I think that, for those people who lean on that and want to have that conversation, it is in there too for them. So it really will serve everyone. But I I just pray it brings an enormous amount of hope to a space where a lot of people feel like they've been very taken advantage of and very defeated for years and years of spending time and energy and money, frankly, on social and not seeing results. And so I hope that this changes that.
I can't wait to read it. So as we wrap up, Michelle, we're going to make sure everybody here knows how to reach you. Give me the 30 seconds on who is your ideal client, who's your audience, what is your why?
Oh man, my why is to create an enormous amount of change in a short amount of time. And I know that if I work one-on-one with our clients, that will happen. I'm not a group coach. I don't really enjoy that. Me, even personally, as somebody who has hired many coaches over the years, I don't enjoy group coaching. I want to be one-on-one with the person that I'm trying to get the thought from. So what it looks like for me is you're essentially working with me on a one-on-one basis to create your content flow, build your 4 pillars out. We will rebuild your brand from scratch entirely, meaning what your actual physical presence looks like. And then we're going to spend a ton of time on prospecting, who to talk to, how to talk to them, and how to actually have those conversations so that you're not the slimy car salesman in my messages that we all get every single day. And there's a lot more to it than that, but really the core of it is the product itself, the course library, plus me and a lot of one-on-one quality time with me.
Awesome. I've always told loan officers that I've coached, if you believe in what you're selling and if you believe in the value you bring and the way that you educate people, you're actually really not selling anything at all, especially when you come at it from your own authentic place. You're legitimately bringing value to someone. And when you can approach things from that, it changes everything. It changes the way that you're perceived. It changes the way that your inner voice talks to you. And a lot of times it's the game changer. So it's exciting to hear that you have a program that's not just, here's the curriculum, go do it. Because we talked about this. We know what the percentage of execution is when we give somebody something and tell them to go do it by themselves versus the two-pronged approach of here is a strategy, here is a course curriculum, here are all of the tools that you need. And here is some personal coaching to address you and your unique desires, goals, needs, challenges, and some accountability too. So I'm really, really, really excited.
So much accountability. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of accountability. I have always had a coach, from the moment I started swimming at 4 years old to today at almost 35, running $1 million company. I still have a coach, and my coaches have changed over the years. But the reality of it is, we need guidance too. We need our black lines, just like I've created the black line for all of you. So ideal client wise, all I can tell you is be prepared to do work. This is not a hey, this is super easy. I just have one thing of homework per day. That's it. We have homework. We have stuff that we have to do. We have things that we have to execute on in order to create change. So ideal client wise, come hungry, come ready to actually create genuine impact, and do homework because there's
Love it. Michelle, we'll be seeing you at our events, I'm sure, coming up soon. We've got a bunch of fun stuff happening between now and the end of the year. Thank you again for joining me today. And folks, we're going to put a QR code and some information on how to reach Michelle here in our live. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Please reach out to Michelle if you want to change the game and completely redefine your methods for getting out there on social media and marketing.